Hey team, welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to be entering the exciting world of the menu system.
Crushing Defeat Media.
HUD Layout. This one's a big one. So you can have 4 different HUD layouts. As you can see, when I go from 1 to 2, you can see the changes I've made back to like a default state. This is a more default state. And then if I go here, you can see where I've moved everything. So for example, for my samurai, the send gauge by default is way up here. I moved it down here. So any of these items, you can drag and drop and move them wherever you want. The other thing you can do, so if I'm using mouse, I can drag something with left click, but I can also right click it to eliminate it. See how the map went away there? See it's there, see it's gone. See it's there, see it's gone. So if I right click, you'll also see the letters highlight or dim to tell you if it's on or off. So a lot of changes you can make here in the HUD layout. Those are the 2 things that I would play with the most, is moving the things where you want them. I want this hotbar over here, and I want the mini map in the middle of the screen because I'm a crazy person, and I want the party list down here on the right. Oh, nope, I don't want to see the party list, and nope, I don't want to see the mini map anymore. You can make all these changes here, and you've got 4 different ones that you can create. And then there's my default one. So that's how you can move things around and turn it on or off. The other one I want to point out is kind of some of the resizing options. So see the mini maps there in the middle of the screen? I'm on the mini map. You can also use this drop down to select things if you don't want to just click on it. So you've got multiple options there. So if I go back to the mini map and I hit the settings, see the element size right here? I can change this and make it huge. I can make it smaller. I can make it normal. So that's one I think that gets missed, is the different sizing options. And then also the transparency. I can make it all but invisible, or I can make it a solid, or I can turn that on or off here as well. But just, I would remember just right clicking it is a little easier. Discard those changes. You can also change everything back to default. You can also do all of them back to default. Be very careful not to click that after you've done a bunch of work. And I guess that's really about it for the HUD layout. It's a little bit of trial and error, I think, to get it just the way you want. Personally, I like to have kind of a clean screen. I don't want to see a bunch of HUD in front of me. But I also see people do it completely different. I like to have the clear view of the game, but I've seen people put their hotbars right in the middle of the screen so they can see the casting progress of their different skills right there in the middle, so they can optimize how quickly they hit that button, and they're not always looking down, up, down, up, down, up to kind of see what's going on in the game. So that's smart too. There's a few different ways you can look at it. You just have to figure out which one you prefer. User macros. So the user macro I want to cover here real quick, /BM/sit. I covered this in another video, but if you have a weapon that glows like this when it's drawn, see how my sword is glowing when it's drawn? Let's see how it's not glowing when I put it away. Let's say I want to have that glowing all the time when I'm running around. I have this macro. See how it started glowing? Prerequisites here that I should cover. 1, you got to have it so that your weapon shows when you're running around. 2, you have to have a weapon that actually glows when you have it drawn. And 3, you got to create this macro, and then you can have it so that you can make your weapon glow when you're running around. How do you do that? You go in these user macros. You click on any slot, any of these macro slots. You type /BM, enter, /sit. You name it something like glowy. You can even click on this here and choose the icon. Let's say I want it to be this shield icon. And you grab it, drag it to your hotbar, close it down. Let me get rid of my glowy here. All right, my glowy is gone. I click it, boom, there it is. So that is the most basic macro I am aware of, is the glowy weapon macro. If I click on one of these carpenter script macros that I've got, you can see when you get into crafting, they can get quite long. And a lot of nice people online have created these macros and have put them on various websites, so it makes crafting even easier. I did not come up with this macro myself. I went to the internet and said, hey, internet, how can I do a macro for a script creation for carpentry? And the internet said, just do this. And I did, and it worked, and it's awesome. So that's a little bit about macros, but if you're not familiar with macros at all, it is you telling the game to do a series of steps in order. But you can do a lot of things with macros. You could have a string of emotes. If you wanted your character to do this and shake its head and then laugh and then sit and then jump, you could do all kinds of stuff with macros. It's pretty fun. All right, the next one I want to go through is Keybind Menu. And if you're playing on PlayStation, you may think this isn't important. However, it is important. The reason is because I would recommend, even if you're playing on PlayStation, get a keyboard and a mouse, plug them into your PlayStation, and play this way. And the reason is there's so many different buttons and things you need to be able to access all the time while you're playing. And maybe some people like the controller and the cross hotbar and all that, but if you're struggling with any of that, I would recommend taking a look at the keyboard and mouse option. Oh, cool. I just got a new subscriber. Thank you, new subscriber. Am I live somehow? It doesn't say live. Anyway, that'd be weird if I was live. What was I saying? So with the keyboard, use the keyboard. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Meant to hit escape. So if we go into the Keybind menu, one, if you're playing with PlayStation and you love the controller and the cross hotbar with the controller, or if you're playing on PC and you love the controller and crossbar with controller, that's great. Do that. If you're like me and you don't think there's any way you could play this game with that limited number of keys, this is where you go to set your different keybinds. This is an important menu for a couple reasons. One, so you can learn the different things that you can use with shortcuts. So for example, did you know you can get into the character screen just by hitting C? Did you know you can get in the map just by hitting M? Did you know you can get into the inventory just by hitting I? Did you know you can get into the actions and traits menu just by hitting P? Did you know you can get into your duty finder just by hitting U? These are all things that you can learn here. Party members, O. Not one I use a lot. That's one I just learned. Link shells, L. You can see I'm in a link shell. Duty finder I use a lot. Timers, control U. That's one I didn't know. That's a helpful one that I'll cover in a minute. So one great thing about this keybind menu is to teach yourself what's available. There's even reply shortcuts, things I need to teach myself, to be honest. The other thing you can do, if you purchase an extra piece of equipment that's got extra keys, you're going to use the keybind menu to make those entries to line everything up. So first I went into the Corsair software and I said, hey, for those extra G keys I've got on the side, G1 through G6, when I hit those keys, I want the computer to think that I just hit Control F1, Control F2, Control F3, Control F4, Control F5. So I set those keys as that. Then I go into the keybind menu and I go to whichever hotbar I want those to be assigned to, and I make it those same things. Control F1, F2 through F6. That way, I've got it set up on my hardware, I've got it set up in the keybind, and now when I go back into the game, when I hit those buttons, it causes those effects to happen. All right. So that's probably about it for keybind. Let me just make sure. Yeah, this is just, it's a good one to study. And like I said, I just learned some. I did not know that party members was O. I had no idea. So always good to take a look at that stuff. What else? What other menu do I want to talk about? License. No idea. Third-party license? What does this mean? What is this even about? No clue. Is this something because I have a Steam copy? Anyway, there's a license menu. You can log out, you can exit the game. So I would say that's about it for the escape menu. We covered all of the, I think, important ones in here. If you've got more, like I said before, please put them in the comments below. Now I want to talk about the bottom right menu.